All right, and welcome to the Heavy Revy Show. I am your host, Josue. I'm super excited that you guys are here with us today. In today's segment, Wednesday's Word from the Wise. Remember, guys, this show is a show where we share revelation that's going to help you grow in your walk with God, leadership, and relationship with others. And I'm super excited for today's segment, Wednesday's Word from the Wise, because we got JT Wilkins, worship pastor at Charis Christian Center. My man is in the building with us, man. Say what's up to the people, bro.
What's going on, everybody? We're going to have a great time. I'm really honored to be out here in this place with Josue. It's going to be fun, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Those of you guys who are tuning in for the first time, again, I do 3 different segments. I do a Monday message where it's just me just sharing my heart. It can be on leadership. Again, it can be on your relationship with God, relationship with others. But then we have these awesome segments like these where I invite guests on, which I call my Wednesday's Word from the Wise, because there's people with a lot of wisdom, and it's important to have those people with you, because sometimes there's a lot of people out there with wisdom without the whiz, and it's just dumb. Okay, so with that, I love this segment because even for myself, I get to learn something and glean something from our guests. Then next, we have a Failing Forward Fridays. It's the only time I do a live video, and I just talk about just something that I failed at and how I've learned and grown from it. And so I'm excited. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor Podcast and Google Podcasts. It's going to be awesome. But all that to be said, JT, let's dive in. And today we're going to talk about a subject that, man, JT and I are just really big on, and that's leadership.
Woo. I was about to bust at the seams talking about that. It's going to be awesome.
Tell me, JT, what got you hooked on this topic?
The biggest thing is that when, as I'm growing through the ministry, being young, you learn a lot of what not to do. And my goal in life was, if I ever had an opportunity to be in a position of leadership, how would that look?
Yeah.
How would that be? And so, in leadership, I've seen it not only in military, because I was in the Marines, but I've seen it in ministry. And it's one of the most vital, essential parts in the ministry, that if we don't get that right, because that's the foundation. That's yes, the Word of God is the foundation. I mean, but I'm talking about structural.
Yeah.
Learning how to have a structural organization, that means so much to me in every area of my life, even to my family. And I've missed it sometimes, but we have somebody who is Jesus Christ that showed us excellent leadership, and I've always had a heart for that. It's always been and raising up leaders. I saw people who didn't raise up people right. Yeah. And then my heart was always to be, if I had that opportunity also, I want to be able to pour into the next generation. Those who are willing to listen. Yeah. And those who are willing to, that'll take, because everybody has something to give, but they have to see that in you and pull that out of you.
I see. For you, growing up, was that something easy that came easy to you, just to receive from other leaderships, like when you were in the Marines or just in those other ministries?
The Marines really brought out a lot for me. When I was young, you go into youth groups and children's churches and stuff like that. We looked, you look up to your youth pastors, and those were great, and they were always loving. When I was growing up in Florida at our church, youth pastors were always good. I really saw leadership out of love in those in the children's ministry. Yeah. But what opened my eyes a lot was when I stepped into the military, when I went into the Marines, because I saw it from a battle point of view. I saw it from, yes, we won the victory. Yes, if we defeated the end, but no matter what, we still don't let our guards down. We still have an enemy that wants to come and kill, steal, and destroy. So we can't just sleep. That'll be like living in America, but we have no army, we have no military force, and we just go to Chuck E. Cheese and Wendy's and just eat. Well, how does that look if we have foes that want to come in? We have nobody guarding our walls. We have nobody doing anything. So we prepare for things that could happen, and if it doesn't happen, hallelujah, but we still prepare. So the military brought that out of me, that we still need to train. We still need to. That means in the ministry part of it, go to church, read our word. Yeah. Get fed. Why do we put on our armor daily? Yeah. Helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness. We do those things because we are in God's army, and we need and we cannot lack because we deal with an enemy that does not sleep. So and he does not fight fair. So, but we have the winning card, which is Jesus. But if we don't know how to use it, if we don't know who he is, you can know Jesus but don't know Jesus.
Yeah. That's deep right there. By the way,
You can know him, but you don't know him because at the end of the day, you have 12 disciples, and out of all those 12, they walked with him for 3 years. And what boggled my mind out of everything was Judas still committed suicide.
Yeah. And it's Jesus the one who picked him. You know what I mean?
I know. So we have an enemy that wants to destroy us. So we have to be in a place of victory. We stand in a victory, but we can't just be lack and say there's no devil. No, there is a devil, and we need to learn how to have leadership and learn how to move forward in God's army the best way. And the best way is with strong, healthy, anointed leadership.
Amen. So what would be your advice for people who may want to start off their journey to be that, awesome leader that's called by God?
The first thing I would say is, and I'm writing a book called So You Want to Be a Worship Pastor. I put that for me, but it can probably go with anything. So you want to be a what? The first thing that people need to know is what is their calling? What is your call? What comes easy to you? Maybe. What is God calling you to do? Because you're working in a church right now, and you just shared with me just a little bit ago that you're working in the business side of. You were a youth pastor.
Yeah.
But now you relinquished that, and now you went towards this.
Yeah.
You heard God, and God pulled you out of that and pushed you in this. You could have been stubborn and said, "No, I'm doing it." So we got to know what is our calling in life, and then from there, now that right there is the litmus of getting you going in the direction you want to go, and out of that forms so many other things that you can be blessed at. Me being a worship pastor at that church, at Charis Christian Center. That's my call.
Yeah.
But I've married 2 people. I've done funerals. I go out there and shovel snow. I'm doing other things outside just sitting in my office playing music.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that I know my calling.
Right.
And my calling is the first thing to know, so that it'll help me develop to be better in that arena.
I see.
And then out of that arena, other things will spread, but at least in that arena, I am going to be the best leader I can be, and raise up teams under me in that thing. That's my calling, my mandate.
I like that because what's kind of come to mind for you, JT, leadership, is that a position, or is that just that everyone's called to in a certain thing? Like, can I be a trash man and still be a leader, building up and developing a team? I believe
leaders are forged. You could be a leader in any position that if I worked at Wendy's across the street here, I come in as a servant. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
I come in as a servant under the boss.
Yeah.
But my heart is to be able to say, how can I make this better? And how can I come at this better? My leadership is being on time. My leadership, and I can start from doing fries.
Yeah.
To being a manager, to being assistant manager. But it's my attitude and it's my how I come at the job of anything. And are you willing to be teachable? Because being a teachable person, that's developing you to be a better leader. Because eventually you're going to want to be able to talk to anybody else and teach them and pass that on. So yes, leadership, anybody can be a leader if they're willing to be teachable in that position wherever they're at and to grow. Because God created us all as leaders. Yeah. He said the great commandment is to go out and preach the gospel to all, we all have an opportunity to be a leader in whatever position we're at. But the problem is most people don't want to be taught, and they don't want to be humble enough to submit. They want to they want the position without the process.
Man, say it again.
They want the position and without the process. That means that if I go into Wendy's, that I want to be a manager, but I don't even know how to run. I don't even know how to do. I don't even know how to cook fries. I don't know. You start from the bottom up. You start from the ground up. Jesus Christ came as a baby first. He didn't come as a man because he wanted to show how he had to live like a human being. So he had to go from as a child. He had to go through as a teenager. He had to go through all the things. He didn't come just Jesus. He
Right.
came as a baby because because now we can stand in front of him because was teachable, not only with God, but it says that he was gone for 3 days. Mary lost him for 3 days.
Yeah.
All right. And then next, he said some smart aleck remark. Didn't you know I was doing my father's business? You know? And then Mary, I think Mary was, maybe she was a black mom or something. I don't care if you Jesus Christ, whatever, If you do that again, you ain't going to make it to the cross. I don't know. But what Jesus said, what did it say after that? He submitted himself to his parents.
Yeah.
He wasn't cocky or arrogant.
Right.
He submitted himself and allowed himself to be disciplined by earthly parents. So even Jesus had to learn how to come under authority.
Yeah.
And even when he stepped into ministry, he didn't come saying, he said, I do what my father tells me to do. I don't, he had his agenda was his father's agenda.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the question you're asking me is, can anybody be a leader? Absolutely. If they're willing to be taught and if they're willing to go through the process.
That's good.
If they're willing to, to go through the seasons of learning how to train, and most people want to get on the platform without going through the process. And that's why most of your leaders fall.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't last long. Because they're not willing
They're
to
the
go.
shooting stars
They're
that
the shooting
shoot up
stars.
high and then just.
And crash because they have nothing to sustain them on the, I'm on the stage at Charis Christian Center. If you multiply all the times that I'm on stage for the week, it's 2 hours. I got an hour on Sunday. I got a half hour on Wednesday, and maybe something in the middle.
Yeah.
That's it. The rest of my time is dealing with people, raising up teams, discipling, speaking in, bringing correction, things. So and praying and developing so that when I step up on stage, that's just what you see on stage is the preparation behind the stage.
Yeah.
What people don't see.
Man, that's so good. I just want to hit on that point real quick. Just to kind of recap everything that we're sharing on too. One, you said find the call first.
Find
the
your call.
call. After we find our call, just being that humble and willing, because
Absolutely.
praise God, everyone can be a leader in any position that they're at.
Absolutely.
But just being humble and willing to learn, and being okay with going through that process.
Absolutely.
And so one thing that you hit on that was super, super deep too, just for anyone who wants to be like a worship pastor or just a pastor in general, I think a lot of people look at that stage and that platform moment and say, man, I can't wait to get there one day. Man, I can't wait to get there one day. But then it's like you don't realize that's only about 10% of the job.
That ain't even 10%. That's probably about 5% of the job. The job, the 95% of the job is dealing with people.
Yeah. And it's working and managing and just being that leader to people.
Absolutely. Because first Jesus had to build a relationship with people.
Yeah. And that's good because here's one thing too. Like I read. I mean, we've gone back and forth on just different good leadership books out there.
Absolutely.
But I was reading and talking to somebody about how to win friends and influence people.
I read that book too.
Powerful Dale Carnegie, book. Shout out.
Come on.
Other young leaders, man, you got to read that book.
Young Lions, that's a good book.
It's good because, he talks about relating with people and just connecting with people. And some people can look at it and they can almost take it as manipulative. Mm-hmm. But, what hit me the other day, I was reading when Jesus was talking with Peter, why did Jesus tell Peter, you're going to be a fisher of men? Mm-hmm. He was speaking his language.
Absolutely.
Why? Because Peter was a fisherman.
Absolutely.
He was relating to him in the sense of, hey, connection.
Absolutely.
And so in that sense, all that to say that, man, in that 95% of us doing our job is more the leading and developing and connecting and working with people.
Absolutely.
If people have just issues with connecting with people, what are some tips and advice and to kind of get past that?
The biggest thing is to be vulnerable and to be humble, and to not be there's a couple of leader styles that will destroy anything. One is a passive aggressive leader. Passive aggressive means that I don't want to deal with issues. They're very insecure. They don't attract strength. They repel it because strength would make them feel that like if you play better bass than me, then that makes me look good. Yeah. If you play better keys than me, then that makes me look good. Yeah. I should be able to walk out of my practice. Come on. And go sit in my office and work on a couple things and have somebody, which I have now, which I can literally walk out of my rehearsals and say, hey, I need you to run my rehearsals. I'll be back in a little bit. I got to go check on the choir, or I got to go.
Yeah.
Boom, I've got a choir director. I don't even go in the choir director because I've got to learn to release. And if you're coming into the position of hold,
Yeah.
and it's mine, and
Yeah.
this is what I do,
Yeah.
and this is me, then you'll blow everybody out the water. The
Yeah.
biggest thing, rules without relationship breeds anarchy. So that means if you cannot build relationships with people, and you'll know the ones that gravitate to you.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus always spoke parables, and what did he say? For those who have ears, let them hear.
Yeah.
So if you really want to find out more about the leader, you'll come and seek him out.
Yeah.
You're going to be surrounded by a bunch of people, but there's some Esthers and there's some Timothys in there that'll gravitate to you. Not everybody's going to be your Esther and your Timothy, but you need to be looking for your Esthers and your Timothys.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that are going to multiply you.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a place when you come into leadership to raise up leaders is to release leaders and to trust them in that position that you're releasing. They're going to make mistakes, but you're going to have to sit down and talk with them and bring correction to them. And if you have it in a healthy way and you build that relationship healthily, you'll have your Timothys and Esthers, and they will do anything. They'll run. The goal is if I leave this ministry,
Yeah.
it don't die.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
That means that if I walk out of being a praise and worship pastor at Charis Christian Center, the ministry does not die because I walked out. Not walking out in a bad way, but if God shifted me and moved me into, then I should have healthy, deep, deep people that can say, I can step in and do this.
Yeah.
Because I've trained them. You know, and there's a lot of there's a lot of leaders that when they walk out, it dies because they've never allowed for people to take ownership into their vision.
Yeah.
And I said this to a worship pastor one time, or a leader. Show me your Disney World. And he was like, what?
Unpack that. Yeah.
He's like, what? Show me your Disney World. I said, yeah, because Walt Disney, when he went out to Orlando, he saw Disneyland. He saw Disney World.
Yeah.
But everybody else saw swamp, and they thought he was an idiot. They thought he was like, it's swamp out here. Acres and acres of swamp. But he didn't see swamp. He saw Disney World.
Wow.
And then when he saw that vision, he implemented it, and people bought into it.
Yeah.
And that's why millions of people every year go to Disney World and Disneyland. Because of one man's vision, he had a vision, and he showed it. So when you step into leadership, you need to show vision, and you need to be able to release people to take ownership of that vision. Those disciples would never have gone. We would have never had the gospel if he would have released them the first time he met them and just released them.
Yeah.
They had to walk with him. He had to train them.
Right.
They had to be willing to listen. He had to release them to make mistakes.
Right.
Because they had. When he came off the mountain and they couldn't cast out that
demon.
demon, they said, your disciples can't cast. He goes, how long must I be with these kids? Bring the child to me. And then they asked him, how come you could do it and we couldn't? A training session. Because some evil spirits need to be dealt with fasting and prayer.
Yeah.
So he's training them on, you just can't just get in there and just pray. You need to fast sometimes to get in there, So he's training them. So by the time he left this planet, they're willing to die.
Man.
They died for him. They died. And Peter he was hung up upside down. They were willing to die and lay down their lives, but they weren't willing to do that the first time. Why? Because they all scattered.
Yeah. They dipped.
They dipped. But because of him coming back, restoring, bringing them up, challenging them, do you love me? Let's do this. Things, bringing them back in. Didn't look for another 12. He still focused on those same 12.
Right.
And that's why we have the gospel today, because he poured in and he released. And he was willing to say, you're going to do, this is Jesus Christ. And we just talked about it before the show came out. He said, you're going to do more than I did.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for it. You're going to do more than I did on this planet because I go to the Father.
Yeah. Man, and that's good too. Just a good note, just as a challenge for us as leaders, that the people that are working under you, or the people that you're developing and pouring into, you want them to do better than you.
You want them to do
You don't
good.
want to. You can't be insecure about it, because that's a testimony of first your leadership and you building them out and just training that.
Absolutely.
But man, be okay with them, striving and passing you.
Absolutely, that's the goal. I should be able to come in on a Wednesday, and I might not even have to sing. Because I got a team that can go at it. And I'm out there, I'm worshiping, and I'm cheering them on.
Yeah.
Jesus is in heaven cheering us on.
Yeah.
Because he says greater things you're going to do than I did on this earth. I mean, we can only do what because of the work on the cross, and now we have unlimited access and power to go out there and do anything.
Yeah.
Because he says greater things you're going to do because I go to the Father. He didn't say, okay, so you're going to do that, but I need to be with you. I got to come down here and I got to make sure that he's not micromanaging.
Right. God, I hate micromanaging. I ain't gonna lie, dude.
Good.
Seriously, dude.
Man, it's the worst. So
I see 5 faces, and yeah.
Passive aggressive, and then dictatorship leadership. That's leaders that just they don't want to have dialogue. They want to be able to just do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
They micromanage you to the place where they suck the dreams and the lives out of you because they don't believe in you.
Yeah.
The best thing you told me about your pastor, the best thing that your pastor's ever done for you, that I heard that we just talked about is, I believe in you. Go do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I don't know. I believe in you. Just go dream, and it's gonna look good. What a great feeling.
Yeah, my Disneyland is what's cool is my Disneyland's right behind you, man. It's people may see boxes on a whiteboard, but man, I see a huge impacting church at Freedom Church up here in Woodland Park, man. But no, thank you just for even just casting that out and just sharing that. But man, that comes from the power of what you're saying of working under a leader who is okay of releasing his people.
Absolutely.
And but one of the things I kind of want to bring it back a little bit, JT, because you said something that's real deep that I think just people need to grasp, and you hear about it all the time. And so if you guys get it like, Josue, we've heard a lot of teaching on this, again, let's humble ourselves and let's listen to what you got to say on this, JT. But you brought up one good point is casting the vision and showing the Disneyland. Because I mean, with that's what my leader did for me. My pastor, he's able to show me everything that he wants. And then how do we get there? And he's looking at me now and just telling me to be creative to get there. And so for casting that, how does that look?
How does that look? Well, first of all, let's go back to what we said before. First of all, it's the call. So the call in my life is worship pastor.
Yeah.
So when I come into this position, what is the vision? First of all, I sit and I watch. And the first thing I do before I can cast vision is I need to find out who's with me and who's not, because there's transition. Yeah. When I stepped into this position at Charis, there was a lot of transitions. People were coming and going. Healthy, nothing that I did. Right. But people are going to go with you for the season. So who's with you? And I focused on relationships. Yeah. I casted saying and bringing structure, but I said my heart is to bring worship to another level, which is we'll do a CD, we'll do worship events, we'll do workshops, we'll have conferences. I'm casting a little bit of vision, but I haven't dived into it yet. We're going to change the culture of the music a little bit. But there's a shift, and just hold on and trust me, and we'll get there. It didn't happen overnight. The goal in leadership to show your vision is like I'm showing him a visual. Is like taking this little bottle, and just moving it little. We're gonna today. We're gonna change our time for rehearsals from 5:30 to 6. I'm gonna be setting up all the music a month in advance so that you guys have your music so that you'll know exactly what's gonna go on. I need you guys to be on time and when we come in, it's not to learn the music, it's to know it because I've already set you up for success. I want to make sure that you guys can when you come in on Sundays, we watch the pastor. Let's make sure we're flowing together. Make sure we all come in and we're watching. I got a band director now. We're gonna make sure that we listen to him. We work the songs on Thursday nights, so we can be good. So if we mess up, we're gonna start it again. So we just don't go through it and just wing it. I don't want to do wing worship. We plan it and we make sure that we implement it. This week, next year, we're gonna implement some dancing in our Christmas productions, I had more fight on the dancers coming in on the dance, but once I did it, everybody loved it. You see what I'm saying? I'm casting vision, but little bit that they can digest down, because if I give them everything that I want to do, it's too massive.
That's good.
It's too massive. So when Jesus told Peter that he was going to be a fisher of men,
right.
that was it.
Yeah.
He didn't say you're going to have a worldwide ministry. All he says, Peter, I'm going to raise you up to be a fisher of men. Boom. That's the little movement.
Yeah.
He's giving him vision, but he's not giving everything.
Yeah.
Because people sometimes might not buy into your vision, and people might talk your vision down. And so through casting vision and casting things, you want to make sure that people believe in you, have your back, because the more you have people that buy into what you're trying to do, the more the more success you're going to have to get that vision faster. When you build it. But it comes a little bit. People want to come into leadership and they want to cast this big grandiose vision. But they don't have the hearts yet. They don't have the people yet.
Yeah. And man, it's interesting too, because coming back to even just Jesus, when Jesus first met Peter and John, he didn't immediately tell them, hey guys, I'm going to a cross, I'm going to die for you guys and die and save the world.
No.
You know what I mean?
Come and follow me or whatever. I mean, it was just little things that brought him. He had a vision.
Yeah.
And most of the time he was like, for those who have ears, let them hear. Because he just told stories, parables.
Yeah.
Because we work with an enemy, and an enemy wants to destroy your dream, and he wants to destroy your vision.
Yeah.
He really wants to get you out of your call. And how does he do that? He uses people, negative people that are going to just be, I call them Sister Sandpaper and Brother Brillos, that just want to just antagonize a bunch of stuff. So you have to be very particular. That's why I'm always looking for my Timothys.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for my Esthers. And even if it's starting small, I'll give you a story. There's a young man he's on my band now. Last year he came to me and said, I just want to intern with you. I just want to be around you. I said, you do? I said, okay. He's a young gentleman. I said, okay. When young people come to me, the first thing I do is say, that's cool, but I'm not giving them everything because it could be a fad. It could be like a pair of jeans. I mean, they want to come this Monday, but next week they're going to go to the movies with somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
This young man came faithfully for a complete year and a half.
Wow. Every
Monday and every Thursday. Huh. And I gave him minimal tasks. I need you to, because he wanted to play piano. I said, well, let's get in here. Let me show you the chord charts, And I didn't have time to teach him music.
Yeah.
But I could show him some because he knew a little bit of music, but he would work it, and just get in there. He was David in the fields with his father's sheep. But he was willing to go through the process.
Yeah. Come on.
Now, fast forward it to this year. He played Jesse Duplantis with me this past weekend. I didn't even tell my pastor that he was going to play on a Wednesday. Because I just put him up there.
Yeah.
Because I knew he was ready. And I knew he had my heart.
Yeah.
I didn't know he could play like that. Where'd he come from? I can't. Because he was willing to go through the process.
Yeah. Wow.
Before he got promoted.
Come on.
And he's still humble and he's still teachable. But most people want to be Stephanie Gretzinger and they want to have the Bethel and they want to have the Jesus culture and they want to do all this stuff. Listen, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
And all churches aren't Bethel and all churches aren't Jesus culture and all churches aren't Hillsong.
Yeah.
What is your church saying? And how can you operate in that as a leader to be able to raise up other leaders? And you've got to know the culture of your church.
Yeah.
And you've got to know how to pour in and bring people who are your Timothys and give them a little bit of your vision. Because by the time I give it the big vision and I have tons of Timothys and Esthers, my vision will continue. The vision of the gospel continued because he started small.
Yeah.
And then they saw the big picture. And now they got it.
Yeah.
And they don't need Jesus Christ down here to help. They have him in his heart.
Yeah.
But they're going to go because they're sold out now.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I love that. Just that story. And I know the guy you're talking about. That dude's awesome.
He's awesome.
Seriously. He, the thing is too, like, even just to know the wisdom to, because I knew he's involved he was in a group and they're doing all these fun things. And, sometimes for us as leaders, fun can distract us. And even though it's ministry and it's fun,
absolutely.
For him, he's like, man, I feel like the Lord's saying, that's not it, man. I need to back down.
That's a leader.
Exactly. Most people would say,
I'm doing this.
You gonna pay for me for this?
I'm doing this.
I'm out. Thanks, man.
I'm
Bet. But being faithful, man, being faithful is a huge, so huge.
Listen, I'm the God honest truth. And I'm going to be very vulnerable here with everybody. Hallelujah.
Come on.
So don't be going. I don't have a degree in music. I have a little bit of. I've taken some online Bible things for my pastoral thing.
Yeah. Come on.
That's it. The reason why I'm in this position of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Is because I was faithful.
Yeah.
And God gave me a good name.
Come on.
And a good name will carry you anywhere.
Yeah.
And I would rather have somebody who's humble and somebody who's teachable than somebody who's talented and a jerk.
Yeah.
And so God, for me to be in the position of a worship pastor is literally God's opportunity for me to be. He put me in this place. But everybody says, "Man, I can't believe you're on the stage. You're in this church." And they weren't with me when I was in Florida, and I was an assistant worship pastor, or I was doing worship with the youth groups, and I was a youth worship leader for the junior high. I did children's ministry and puppet ministries. When I was at that church, I took out the trash. I scrubbed toilets. I did parking lot ministry. I did the homeless ministry. I did street ministry. I did everything.
Yeah.
That was not even part of the call. It's ministry,
Right.
But it was not. But past people have come to me throughout the years and said, one day you're going to be a worship pastor because that's your calling. And that is I have focus now.
Yeah.
But if I came into this church and I'm thinking children's pastor, assistant pastor, volunteer pastor, security, nursery, like I got this is but I have no focus. My focus is I'm a worship pastor.
Yeah.
Now, can I do children's ministry? Absolutely. I probably can get in there and hang out with the kids.
Yeah.
But that's not what God called me to do.
Right.
He called me to do music.
Yeah.
Now, but what happens is out of your calling, things will start coming at you that attracts you, that attracts to you.
Yeah.
And those are and you got to pray through it. Is that a divine appointment or is it distractions? And you just got to pray through those things.
Yeah.
But when you do and you pray and you give it to God, whatever you step into, it'll blow up and it'll just be amazing.
Yeah, man, that's so good. One of the things that as leaders we're focusing and we're going after these things. One thing I just want to balance with you guys too, man. Even though you may be called to worship pastor, senior pastor, business, whatever you're called to, and you're in that process season, don't ever turn anything down unless the Lord tells you to.
Absolutely.
Because one example, Jesus, there was a time where someone had died and he was going to go raise him from the dead.
Okay.
So he was on a mission, right?
Okay.
Obviously that's important. But then there's this woman with the issue of blood.
Yeah.
Same timeline of the story, and she reaches out and she touches his garment. Now he could have said, "All right, man, get off me. I'm on my mission. I'm on my goal.
Absolutely.
I'm on my call.
Absolutely.
I'm on my journey to success."
Absolutely.
Right? But he took a moment to pause and say, "Daughter, man, great is you are awesome. Your faith has made you whole." He took a moment to pause from the call or the direction or the vision that he was going towards to acknowledge this situation.
Absolutely.
Here. And so, and I'm saying that because JT, you painted a beautiful picture that you were called to worship and you knew you were called to worship, but yet you were in children's. You were doing puppets. You were doing trash. You were being faithful and just going through the process. Going through the process,
Absolutely.
which I know for my generation, it can be hard to look at process because, we look at YouTube, we look at, YouTubers who just blow up out of nowhere with, millions of views. We look at, different markets are like, man, their business just blew up out of nowhere, in our digital information age where we're so used to everything just happening quick and fast. But when it comes to leadership, like you said, that has to be crafted and molded.
That's forged.
You have to be forged through that process.
Absolutely.
You cannot fast track this because if you fast track it, it's gonna suck.
And you're gonna do a lot of more damage to people because you're not ready to handle what God's given you. It takes a lot. One of my pastors said one of the best quotes he said since I've been here is, "If you want a perfect church, keep the doors closed. You want a perfect ministry, don't deal with people." But once you deal with people, it's going to get messy.
Yeah.
And so you need to be able to learn how to work with people. You need to learn how to train people. And there's a lot more to it than just I'm using worship pastor tonight because of but there's a lot more in leadership that has to deal with more people and learning how to get along with those people, and learning how to release people, learning how to let go people. I think that if you operate in fear because you want to be a people pleaser, you're going to do more damage than good. There's some people that are there for your season, and then you need to know when to let them go. And you need to be able to sit down and have a talk with them.
Yeah.
And you need to say, tell me what's going on in your life. But you should already have a relationship at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good leaders they know their people. They know they spend time. You can't spend time with everybody all the time, but you have opportunities to speak. I've got young ladies that I can talk to. I'm not in closed rooms with them, but I trust them. I got 2 young ladies that are over my dance ministry.
Yeah.
And they're my Esthers. I believe in them. When everybody else would give me flack, give me nonsense, but now everybody loves it. You know why? Because I believe in them. I trust them.
Yeah.
I'm encouraging them. I'm building them up. I'm letting them take ownership.
Man.
Now the dance team is amazing. So leadership, you have to be able to, for you to get to that level to deal with people, you've got to learn how to first deal with your peers, high schoolers, middle schoolers. Learning how to, one of the things that kills churches, I'm going to hit this one that I might get some flack on, nepotism.
Unpack that.
Nepotism is where, if my son Caleb, which is, he's got a heart for kids, but all of a sudden I just throw him because he's my son, I throw him as an assistant pastor. But he's not trained he's not trained yet. Because he's my son, he's my assistant pastor. I put him as my children's pastor first.
Yeah.
Junior pastor.
Yeah.
College pastor. Raise them up, learning how to start small. But we got a lot of times, sometimes we get people that put their people in positions, a lot of churches that put people in positions that they're not even qualified for, and they're not ready for it. But because because it's, you gotta look at a lot of things sometimes. Nepotism sometimes is a big one because it's just, I believe that my kids I love them and they're ready. I want them to do ministry, but I want them to do ministry healthy.
Yeah.
I want to set them up for success.
Yeah.
And not just throw them into something because they're my son or my daughter or whatever. And those are the things sometimes that hurts churches too. And you gotta, but that's all based on leadership.
Yeah.
If Jesus would have put those guys out there before he died, put him out there and said, go take, they would have failed. They had no stability, no ground, but he had to build them up for 3 years to get them ready. So when he left the planet, they're ready to go. And nothing would have waned them. Nothing waned them. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
To the point of death. And the most of them died as John.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. JT, what are some last leadership thoughts that you would just leave with us?
Last leadership thoughts. Be willing to be vulnerable, be humble, be teachable, and leave a legacy. If you look behind you and there's nobody behind you, you're just going for a walk. But if you look behind you and there's people behind you that'll go with you anywhere, then you've done your job. Don't be passive aggressive. Deal with issues.
Yeah.
Learn how to have healthy confrontations. Not being a jerk, but healthy confrontations. What does that look like? Well, if you're late, I had a gentleman that was up here. I'm not going to say his name, but he came late one time to my rehearsals. And he didn't listen to the music. I knew he didn't listen to the music because he was winging it in my rehearsals. So I pulled him aside at the end. I said, I know you didn't listen to the music. That's why we were here for almost an hour to 2 hours working on service, because you were trying to work it out. I said, if you do that again, you're not going to be on my team. I'm going to sit you down. I love you, but God deserves the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Another thing is, if people come to you, if they're coming to you to be a part of something, then you put that back and say, you came to me.
Yeah.
So I expect it to be awesome, because it's not even for me, it's for God. God deserves the best.
Yeah.
So leadership is a lot, but the biggest thing is just learning how to be able to speak into people's lives, learning how to raise up leaders, learn to cast vision, humble, teachable, and willing to go through the process no matter how long that takes before you get promoted. Stop looking for the stage in the limelight.
Yeah.
Be willing to be humble, not looking to be seen. I'll tell you what one of the things that I do, and then I've done is I can't stop people from giving me praise. JT, that was awesome. JT, that was amazing. The worship was awesome. I said, thank you. To God be the glory. But when I get home, I say, Father, now I take all that praise and worship, all that praise, and I give it to you as a bouquet of flowers. I take it off me because I can't handle it. Yeah. It's not for me to handle. You're the only one that deserves the highest praise. Wow. So keep me humble and teachable, and I thank you for putting me in this position. I say it every time.
Wow.
And it keeps in that alone, that act of just saying that and getting it off you. That's the reason why Lucifer fell, because he never released it back to God. He took it on himself and said, "Yeah, I am good. Yeah, I am. Yeah, you're right." And he got cocky and he got prideful. And then and that's why man isn't where they're at, because we got an angel that got cocky and prideful and didn't know how to give praise back to his God.
Wow.
He took it.
That's so good. Last thing I just want to ask, and I ask this to everyone on my podcast, what is one thing that you failed at, and what have you learned from it?
I miss it sometimes in leadership. Yeah. I might. When I first started off being in, and I was one of those leaders. I was very aggressive. I was working on my people skills. I was missing it. It was a little bit too harsh, too hard. I think I'm more easier now on these people here in Charis Christian Center than my wife's like, man, you really toned it down a lot, But I'm human, and I'll be willing to make a mistake if I mess up.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes I might miss it. Like if I had one girl, one team member, I scheduled them wrong, and I had a meeting. And I missed it, and I said, and she came that day early, and she wasn't singing, and I said, please forgive me.
Yeah.
My team knows that I'm going to say sorry if I botch it up.
Yeah.
If I botch it up, I'm going to take ownership of it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good factor to have, is that I can miss it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a pastor in a position. That's just the title. I'm a worship pastor. I'm still human. I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna make mistakes, and I might miss it.
Yeah.
And that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. So I don't come into the position thinking that I gotta have everything right.
Yeah.
Because I will mess it up, or I will miss it, or I will make a mistake. But that's probably in leadership, is just learning, and it's always learning. I'm always because the church I was in Florida. Yeah. Totally different church here in Colorado. So I'm at a different style of leadership. I'm working with a different style of pastor. I'm working with a different style of theology. I'm working with a different I can't come in with the old season and come in and saying this is how I do it. I can't. So, and I've missed it on some things, and I'm learning. So I have to be teachable and bendable. Yeah. I can keep going on for days, but there's, that's the biggest thing, is just learning how to be vulnerable in a place where people can say, it's all right. We're human. I have 5 kids. I'm married. I'm a dad. I miss it sometimes in my marriage, sometimes with my kids, but they'll know that if I mess up, I'm so sorry, guys. Please forgive me. I'll say that. So
yeah. Thank you, JT. Absolutely. Guys, I do that, and I asked that last question just to give a little context, just why I do that. I have just another segment on Fridays where we talk about failure, and just it's okay. And I just want to brag on you real quick, JT, just to the people, just because I know you want to do it for yourself, and hey, I know you're going to take it and just give this to the Lord, because that's what He's done, in your heart, and He's done for you. But man, JT, you're an awesome leader, man. You would just the time and the season I was with you at Charis Christian Center, just seeing what you have done with the worship just seeing what you've done with raising up leaders to take on different positions, just the care and love that you have for the students, and just seeing yourself reflect off your children. Your children are phenomenal, man. And that comes from good leadership in the home as well.
Absolutely.
And so I say all that to say, guys, even for us as leaders, when you're in a certain season, doesn't mean you're going to get it right all the time.
Absolutely.
But it's okay. You know, a righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up each time and keeps going.
Absolutely.
And that's not stopped JT from being amazing and being awesome, man. Amen. Seriously, brother, thank you. Amen. And just thank you for taking time just to come up here to good old Woody P.
Come on, Woody P.
Good old Colorado, Woodland Park, man. And just, I appreciate it. Just your heart for people. And, JT, guys, I mean, if y'all don't have a church, all right, and I'm at Freedom Church now, but if you don't have a church and you're looking for a church down in the Springs, you're looking for some good worship, I encourage you to check out Charis Christian Center, and just say what's up to JT.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And everyone else there, too. They're awesome. But thank you, JT. Thank you for just coming on board.
Amen.
We will see you guys on Friday, all right?
Amen. God bless.
Peace.
Peace.
Friends and family, thank you for viewing this message. We hope this episode has inspired you. Please share it for others to hear. Remember, we are now on iTunes Podcasts and Spotify, so check us out. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.